Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, and welcome to the another special edition of the SLR Presents show. I had pre-recorded this show, and the program that I used did not allow me to air it without having a watermark across it. I don't know why. I paid for it, and it still didn't work. So here I am live. It's going to be short because all of the good information is in the pre-recorded one when I was fresh and alive and ready to do it. But unfortunately, let me move this little thing here. I wasn't ready for live, so live is a little too detailed for me, but pre-recorded I can better prepare. But anyway, I hope you had a great day. It's June the 5th, and as promised, I said I was going to vent, and that's venting part one. I am Sherrie Roberts. I will not have any uh, tags or anything. I had all of that. I'm just going to type it in the chat, and hopefully you can get the information. However, I will allow more questions if you have, because tonight we're going to talk about how to avoid student loans, how to go to school debt free and not have to have all that debt on you. This is graduation season. A lot of kids have graduated or are graduating, and we want to say congratulations to them. Um, and as I'm talking, I hope that you'll share this. You'll like, subscribe, and share with a parent or a child that's headed to college, considering college. Maybe you're an adult student like I was, and you are wanting to try school. And that way you can um, learn some ways that you can do it without putting yourself in a lot of debt, which is just not good. We know that in this country there is a lot of turmoil about student loan debt, and there are a lot of people who have been affected by student loan debt, and perhaps if they knew some things a little bit earlier at the time that they were in school, they would have chosen a different direction. But sometimes what we don't know can hurt us. And in this case, student loan debt. My hair is doing some stupid stuff here. But anyway, um, what you don't know can hurt you. And it's very important that you understand how to do it. I think I would want to know, if I was a parent or if I was a person going to school for the first time, college, I would want to know the most efficient and effective way that I can get there. Let me read you this quote coming from Susie Orman. By the way, my name is Sherrie Roberts, and I haven't been on for a while, but I did do a little something on TikTok the other day, and trying to get back into the swing of things occasionally. Haven't really settled for a particular theme to come on. So just keep listening out, and hopefully in the future we'll come up with something more consistent. But I just felt like I needed to come on, and me being a college graduate a few times, I know a little something about that, and I just want to provide a service. And I won't be on long, so be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hopefully this will lead you in the right direction. Now, I have a little quote on my Facebook page that says, education will never be as expensive as ignorance. And as I mentioned before, sometimes if we knew to do things differently or better, we would have, and we wouldn't have some of the circumstances we have as a result of that. So we have to just learn how to get information and then apply ourselves accordingly. But Susie Orman, who is a financial guru, if you know anything about financial advisors, she is one of the best. She's one of the top ones. And as a matter of fact, as you hear things and you have questions, you can comment in the chat, and I'll be happy to get the information for you. College is incredibly valuable, and this is coming from Susie Orman, but only if you and your child choose a college that is a great financial fit. And that starts with having clear-eyed conversations at least 5 years before college on what you as a family can afford. Do not leave this conversation for later. That's part of the reason why student debt is such a crushing problem for so many. People borrowed with the best intentions. And education, that's an honest desire, but it is important that you do this. And in her last part saying without carefully considering how much they could afford to borrow. Hence, we have the circumstances we have today, where a lot of people are burdened by student debt, student loan debt. So, this program today is giving you an opportunity to do it the right way the first time, and you can successfully come through school, either not having to borrow at all, or you can borrow minimally and then work through it and come out with a degree and not have all of that debt. And that's the ideal way to go. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I started college in 1991. I graduated in 1990. I also became a mother in 1990, which made my situation a little different. For any of you out there that are listening that have children, it's a little bit of a challenge to try to do school and work and be a parent. It's not easy, but it can be done. So you just have to, do your homework as everybody else and make sure that your schedule and, of course, your finances are ready to handle the additional load. But the reward is you get to come down that aisle with your diploma or your certificate or your degree or what have you. So I went to school. Took me a few years. So in 1995, I received my first degree, Associates of Arts. And I think I did pretty good considering I was trying to juggle a lot of things. And I was able to achieve my first college degree. And I did it without having to borrow any loans. I did it without having to borrow anything. I was able to go through with getting a Pell Grant. That's the first thing. And Pell Grants can be you can apply for one the same place that everybody applies, and that's the FAFSA um, resource that is free. And I'm going to actually just type it in here in the chat. And if you have had any kind of access to any kind of school, FAFSA is there for you to apply for it. There's going to ask you some information. If you're a parent, you have to put your information. If you're a student, you have to put your parents' information and yours. And it's very easy, very self-explanatory. Try to know what school or at least schools you're choosing. I would say choose at least 3 schools that you're interested in so that you can see which one is most affordable. And that's probably another thing that needs to happen. Check each school and make sure that their prices are within a reasonable amount. I would say community college. Start with community college. It's much cheaper. And if you're in the same city, like I was fortunate to be in the same city. So therefore, I didn't have the housing expense that comes with when you live on campus or you're living on your own. There are some additional expenses you would have to consider. So just make sure that everything is in line with what's needed there. So after receiving my associate's degree, I decided to take a break from school for a minute, get a good job and what have you. And then I heard about another program, a bachelor's program for people like myself, which are adult students who have enough credit hours or have an associate's degree in my case, and they want to get a bachelor's degree. So I applied and I received acceptance into Edward Waters College at that time. It's Edward Waters University now, EEW. And they accepted me in what they call the CLIMB program. And the CLIMB program is an accelerated non-traditional delivery system serving adults ages 23 and older who have already completed a minimum of 45 semester hours of college with a cumulative 2.0 grade point average or better. So therefore, if you have at least a 2.0 or better, you can be a part of the CLIMB program. And you're interested in getting a bachelor's degree. And it was a great, great, great segue. And again, I was able to acquire another grant within the state. I remember they announced it. They said, "Oh, the state of Florida has a grant, blah, blah, blah." And so we were able to have that degree paid for as well through grants. Now, you may still have to pay for books and some other fees or what have you. So it's important that you keep some kind of job or something going so that you can uh, pay for other expenses that may not be covered in just, in you just going. So you want to make sure you have all of that clear. Also, it's a lot easier now because many programs are blended, which is online as well as on campus. So if you can do both, that's great. And make sure you just do your homework, read all the things that they tell you so that you can have your information available, so that you'll know what is the best situation for you. All right, so I finished my degree in 2002 with Edward Waters, received my bachelor's, and was very, very content. Okay, did good, but I did what a lot of students do. I got kind of the fever to go back to school a few years later after I had been out for a while, but this time it was a graduate degree, master's. And because the graduate degree is a little bit more, um, you know, there's not a whole lot of options you have with a graduate degree. It's expensive. It's just no matter where you go, in state, out of state, it's going to be a little bit more. However, there are still scholarships and grants that are available to in all kinds of fields, all kinds of organizations that offer them. You just have to do a little more groundwork in finding those sources. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. They're going to be some more. It's just going to be some more work that you have to put in order to get the additional funding. However, there are some opportunities that present themselves when you're going for a graduate degree, so that you can work. And there's a teach grant for you to teach in certain schools that will allow you, if you're going into education, you can teach, and perhaps teaching will allow them to cover your expenses. There are other programs that you have to do that will enable you to have your tuition paid. Some of you will acquire jobs that offer tuition reimbursement, and they will pay you to go to school, especially if it's in a field that you're working. For instance, if you're working at a bank and you want to get tuition reimbursement because you're doing a degree in accounting, that there may be some benefit for that. Obviously, hospitals, you work in the medical field, there's a lot of benefits there. So pay attention to your industry, pay attention to the field that you're going into, and that too will be another way of you getting your your tuition paid. So those are just a few little things you could do. And you notice I haven't said anything about borrowing a student loan, because there are just some things you might have to just look at. Oh, one other thing, make sure you go to your financial aid counselor or advisor at the school that you're attending, because many times they can tell you of some programs that exist that you may not have known of, but you have to ask. And then also be sure to befriend. When I say befriend, just simply be a great student, be on time for your classes, ask questions. Sometimes there are some instructors at colleges that have work study programs that they may need you. They may be chair over certain departments, and there may be some additional things you can do that are not necessarily advertised, but show yourself a good student, and perhaps the opportunities will come knocking at your door, so that you can also get some opportunities presented to you that may not be so well known, but because your character speaks for you, sometimes opportunities will come to you. There's all kinds of, especially those of you that are planning to attend larger universities, there's all kinds of opportunities there. And you never know. One of those just might be an opportunity for you to have your school paid for. So be sure to, stay good and focused and all of that. And you'll be surprised at who's watching. All right, so the last one I want to talk about is work source, or work study. Obviously, we know we talked a little bit about jobs with tuition reimbursement, but many times there may be some jobs off campus that you can work. and you may be able to pay as you go. So if you can pay for your course yourself, or maybe a family member will pay, for your class. Some classes are, 100, 200, 300, maybe a semester. You may be able to pay for that class and just call it a day. Especially if you just take one class at a time, depending on your program. You may want to ask the financial aid department if that's possible. So you're not, thinking you can do that, and that may not be an option, but you can ask, and it may be just easier for you to just pay for it. Especially if it's a trade school, or a program that's just a few months, and you can kind of see the outline. This class is this amount, that just pay for it. Just pay for it. Why borrow all this money only to get a lot of people think about the refunds that you get, which are really supposed to be to help you with books and tuition, books and other expenses. But why go through all of that borrowing that you got to pay it back when you can pay for your class and be done with it? And when you graduate, you have no debt. That sounds like a plan to me. I want to offer you, before I close out, I want to offer you one more resource. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, just send them to me in a message. I'm going to put my email in this chat here. And again, I apologize for all of my moving around here, but you're welcome to email me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. And if you are a person that works in the educational system and you found this information, worth telling, maybe we can get together and do an interview, and we can talk a little bit more about some of the programs that are actually out there. But the one book resource that I want you to get is RamseySolutions.com. Of course, I'm referring to Dave Ramsey. He has a book called Debt Free Degree by Anthony O'Neill is the author of the book. It's a very reasonably priced resource. I think that's one of many. There's many of them, but that's one I definitely would recommend that you get that book. You can get it in an audio book, or you can get it in a hard, in a paperback book, and read up on that information and become the debt-free student with that degree, and don't get those student loans. Just thought I'd put that bug in you, and I hope that this has been beneficial to you. Share it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and we'll be back with some more interesting topics over time. Can't promise you when the next one is, but I hope this has been beneficial for you and your either you as a student, or your child as a student, or grandchild, or niece, or whomever, nephew, whatever, best friend, neighbor, whatever. Share this information, and I wish you the best. Congratulations to all of the college graduates, and to those of you who are anticipating going to school, we wish you the best.